47. The holy monks blocked at night at heaven-reaching river. Metal and wood, in compassion, rescue little children. We were telling you that the king, who was leaning on his dragon table, wept without ceasing until night fell, his tears gushing forth like a stream. Finally Pilgrim went up to him and shouted, "How could you be so dim-witted? Look at the corpses of those Taoists, one happens to be that of a tiger and the other, a deer. Goat's strength was, in fact, an antelope. If you don't believe me, let his bones be baled out for you to see. How could humans have skeletons like that?" These three Taoists were all mountain beasts which had become spirits, united in their efforts to come here and plot against you. When they saw that your nodal fate was still in strong ascendancy, they dared not harm you as yet. After 2 or more years, when your nodal fate declines, they would have taken your life and your entire kingdom would have been theirs. It was fortunate that we came in time to exterminate these deviates and save your life. And you are still weeping. What for? Bring us our rescript at once and send us on our way." Only when he had heard this from Pilgrim did the king return to his senses. The civil and military officials also went forward to report to him, saying, "The dead indeed turn out to be a white deer and a yellow tiger, while bones in the cauldron do belong to an antelope. It is unwise not to listen to the words of the holy monk." "In that case," said the king, "we are grateful to the holy monk. It's late already. Let the Grand Preceptor escort the holy monks back to Wisdom Depth Monastery to rest. During early court tomorrow, we shall open up the Eastern Pavilion and command the Court of Imperial Entertainments to prepare a huge vegetarian banquet to thank them." The priests were escorted back to the monastery. At the time of the 5th watch the following morning, the king held court for many officials. He at once issued a decree to summon the Buddhist monks to return to the city, and this decree was to be posted on every road and on all 4 gates. After also giving the order for the preparation of a huge banquet, he sent his imperial chariot to the Wisdom Depth Monastery to invite Tripitaka and followers back to the Eastern Pavilion for the feast, and we shall speak no more of that. We tell you now instead about those monks who succeeded in escaping with their lives. When they heard of the decree that was promulgated, every one of them was delighted and began to return to the city to search for the great sage Sun, to thank him, and to return his hairs. Meanwhile, the elder, after the banquet was over, obtained the rescript from the king, who led the queen, the concubines, and 2 rows of civil and military officials out the gate of the court to see the priests off. As they came out, they found many monks kneeling on both sides of the road, saying, "Father Great Sage, equal to heaven, we are the monks who escaped with our lives on the beach. When we heard that Father had wiped out the demons and rescued us, and when we further heard that our king had issued a decree commanding our return, we came here to present to you the hairs and to thank you for your heavenly grace." "How many of you came back?" asked Pilgrim, chuckling. They replied, "All 500. None's missing." Pilgrim shook his body once and immediately retrieved his hairs. Then he said to the king and the lay people, "These monks indeed were released by Old Monkey. The cart was smashed after Old Monkey moved it beyond the double passes and through the interlocking spinal ridge, and it was Monkey also who beat to death those 2 perverse Taoists. After such pestilence has been exterminated this day, you should realize that the true way belongs to the gate of Chun. Hereafter, you should never believe foolishly in any doctrine that comes along. I hope you will honor the unity of the 3 religions, revere the monks, revere also the Taoists, and take care to nurture the talented. Your kingdom, I assure you, will be secure forever." The king gave his assent and his thanks repeatedly before he escorted the Tang monk out of the city. And so, their journey had as its purpose a diligent search for the 3 canons, a strenuous quest for the primal light. As they proceeded, they walked by day and rested by night. They drank when they were thirsty and ate when they were hungry. Spring ended, summer waned, and soon it was again the time of autumn. One day toward evening, the Tang monk reined in his horse and said, "Disciples, where shall we find shelter for the night?" "Master," said Pilgrim, "a man who has left the family should not speak as one who remains in the family." Tripitaka said, "How would a man in the family speak? And how would a man who has left the family speak in this time of the year?" Said Pilgrim, "A man who remains in the family will enjoy the benefits of a warm bed and snug blankets. He has his children in his bosom and his wife next to his legs. That's how comfortably he will sleep. Now, how could we who have left the family expect to enjoy such things? We must be cloaked by the stars and wrapped by the moon. We must dine on the winds and rest by the waters. We move on if there's a road, and we stop only when we come to its end." Elder brother said 8 rules. "You know only one thing, but you can't see its implications. Look how treacherous is this road we're walking on. I have such a heavy load on me that I find it difficult even to walk. Please find some place where I can have a good night's rest and regain my strength. By morning, I can face the load once more. Otherwise, I'll die of fatigue. Let's move on a little further then in this moonlight," said Pilgrim. "And we can stop when we reach some place where there are houses." Master and disciples had no choice but to follow Pilgrim forward. They did not journey long before they heard the sound of rushing water. "Finished," said 8 rules. "We've come to the end of the road. We are blocked by a torrent of water," said Sha Monk. The Tang monk asked, "How could we get across?" "Let me test it to discover how deep it is first," said 8 rules. Tripitaka said, "Wunun, don't speak such nonsense. How could you test the depth or shallowness of water?" "I'll find an egg-shaped pebble," said 8 rules, "and throw it in. If it splashes and foam comes up, it's shallow. If it sinks down with a gurgling sound, then it's deep. Go and test it," said Pilgrim. Our idiot groped on the ground and found a stone, which he threw into the water. All they heard was a gurgling sound as if fishes were releasing bubbles as the stone sank down to the bottom. "Deep, deep, deep," he said. "We can't cross it, though you may have discovered its depth," said the Tang monk. "You may not know how wide it is." "Indeed not. Indeed not," said 8 rules. Pilgrim said, "Let me have a look, dear great sage." He somersaulted at once into the air and fixed his gaze on the water. He saw the moon soaked in vast sheens of light, the sky's image drenched in the deep, a spirit branch gulping mountains, a long river feeding 100 streams, 1,000 foaming layers churn, 10,000 folds of mount-like waves. No fisher fires lit up the banks, but egrets rested by the beach. An ocean-like vast expanse, with no boundaries in sight. He dropped down quickly from the clouds to the bank of the river, saying, "Master, it's very wide. Very wide. We can't get across." These fiery eyes and diamond pupils of Old Monkey can discern good and evil up to 1,000 miles during the day, and even at night, they can cover a distance of 400 or 500 miles. Just now, I couldn't even see the other shore. How could I tell the width of the river? Horrified, Tripitaka could not say a word for a long time. Then he sobbed out, "Oh disciple, what shall we do?" "Master, please don't cry," said Sha Monk. "Look over there. Isn't that a man standing by the water?" Pilgrim said, "He could be a fisherman lowering his nets, I suppose. Let me go and ask him." Holding his iron rod, he sprinted forward to have a closer look. Ah, it was not a man, but only a stone monument, on which were written 3 large words in seal script and 2 rows of smaller words down below. The 3 large words were "Heaven-reaching river." The 2 rows of smaller words read, "A width of 800 miles, which few, from days of old, have crossed." "Master," Pilgrim called out, "come and look." When Tripitaka saw the monument, tears rolled down his cheeks, saying, "Oh disciple, When I left Chang'an that year, I thought that the way to the Western Heaven was quite easy. How could I know of the obstacles of demons and monsters, the long distance over mountains and waters? Master said 8 rules. Listen for a moment. Isn't that the sound of drums and cymbals coming from somewhere? It must be that some family is feasting the monks. Let's go over there and beg for some vegetarian food, and make inquiry concerning the possibility of finding a boat to take us across tomorrow. Cocking his ears as he rode, Tripitaka indeed heard the sound of drums and cymbals. These are not the musical instruments of Taoists, he said. It has to be some religious service conducted by us Buddhists. Let us go over there. Pilgrim led the horse in front, and all of them proceeded toward where the music was coming from. There was actually no road for them to walk on, only a rolling sandy beach. Presently, they saw a group of well-built houses, about 400 or 500 of them altogether. They saw that these houses were close by the hill and the roads, next to the shores and the stream. Everywhere the wooden fences were shut. The bamboo yard of each house was closed. Egrets resting on sand dunes had peaceful dreams. Birds nesting on willows voiced their chilly tunes. The short flutes were silent. The washing flails had no rhythm. Red smartweed twigs quaked in moonlight. Yellow rush leaves battled the wind. A village dog barked through sparse field fences. An old fisher slept on his Ford moored boat, where lights were low.